Hi guys and welcome to the Shrewsbury vs Sunderland match review. Now Sunderland did win by 2-0 and I am 100% sober. Well, one of those statements are true. So, was it a fantastic result? Of course it was. It was an absolutely brilliant result. Shrewsbury have a very decent home record. The fans made a brilliant atmosphere. To be fair, they were cracking, the Shrewsbury fans. But on the whole, our performance, I was very disappointed with. I think when the game kicked off, we looked very decent for probably about 4 or 5 minutes. We were pinging balls into their box, we were causing havoc in their area. We had 3 or 4 corners on the bounce in the space of 5 or 6 minutes. But then from then, Shrewsbury sort of took control of the game. And I think what worries me the most is before the Coventry game a few weeks ago, Ross had apparently come out and said, you know, he wants us to play more direct football, which, you know, I suppose I couldn't understand to an extent, because the players on paper that we do have that can play across the top, they have a little bit of pace. I understand that if you throw balls over the top, there's a good chance that we could, you know, break them down. We could get in behind them. I get that, but the players that we have, they're not understanding it, or they don't get it at all, or the quality of the balls played over the top, it isn't there. But we're slowly seeing that integrate into the games more and more and more often, and it isn't good enough. There were several times, particularly throughout the first half, where Baldwin would grab the ball in defence, and James would be completely free, completely unmarked. There's no pressure on him at all, and he'd just hoof it over the top. It's going sailing straight over Madja, straight to their goalkeeper. Or if it does go to Madja, he gets contested, and he's never going to win the ball in the air. That isn't what Madja does, especially when he has a big brick shithouse behind him, hitting him from behind. He's never going to win it. He was getting thrown around like there was no tomorrow, like he was a child, which essentially he is, Madja. But we're so insistent on playing this ball, and the thing is with this hoofing football as well, we started off this season playing this really, really nice football. Every time McLaughlin, the goalkeeper, got the ball, we'd keep it on the ground, he'd roll it out, and we'd play out from the back, and it was on the ground, and it looked brilliant. Our best performance this season so far has been against Scunthorpe, where everything was on the ground, every goal was fantastic, and our best goals of the season have been nice little moves that have been, you know, sort of pass and move on the ground and stuff like that. It's all been from that kind of football. So this sudden change to Jack Ross wanting to play hoof-it football or direct football, which, you know, it's sort of professionally known as, I don't understand it, and I don't think that some of the players are clicking on to or sort of understanding that kind of football either. Because McLaughlin, when he picks up the ball, he's still looking for a defender to come close to him, and so they can roll it out to him. He's still looking to play it out from the back, but then a defender gets it from the back, they're hoofing it up top, and we're basically just gifting them possession over and over and over again in that first half. And to be fair to Shrewsbury, they dominated. You know, it was poor football, don't get me wrong, it's poor football from us in particular, and they weren't incredible. They didn't have any real sort of clear-cut chances, but they had a lot of possession. They were winning every ball in the air, every challenge they were winning, and they had a couple of sort of half chances, or quite a few half chances when balls were pinged into our area. They had a few set pieces, corners and what have you, and they won every single header. You know, admittedly, nothing came of it, but they did boss that first half, really, and it was because of that, because we were just giving them possession over and over and over again, and you could see it that Jack Ross had told them specifically to play this sort of direct football, because like I said, the second Baldwin would get the ball, or Flanagan would get the ball, it was just an immediate look up, hoof, and that was it, and they were winning everything, and it was gifting them possession. So anyway, that was pretty much the first half. It was just Shrewsbury keeping hold of the ball. We couldn't get it. Well, we weren't really keeping hold of the ball, but we were giving them the ball and giving them opportunities to ping it into our area, which we happened to deal with a little bit. But when it was set pieces, we didn't win anything. They won every single set piece. Again, the defence worries me with that, but luckily it didn't, you know, end up doing anything. Second half started, it was exactly the same. Little bits and pieces here and there. We did manage to get a few sort of half chances. Sinclair got in down the right and he struck the ball straight at the keeper. But then I think it was a stroke of genius, really, from Jack Ross. He brought Madja off, which across social media it kind of disgruntled quite a lot of people. And he brought on Gooch. So obviously he must have brought on, I think, changed it around so that Sinclair went down the left and Maguire went down the middle, and then Gooch on the right, or vice versa. Either way, people were shocked that Madja was coming off. But at the same time, Sinclair, even though his end product hadn't been great in the first half, Madja hadn't been involved in the game whatsoever. He was getting pushed around. There's several times where he tried to come deep to pick up the ball, but we're not doing that. Even when he did get into half-decent positions, coming deep to collect it, we're hoofing balls over the top, aimlessly. And obviously, at that point, if Madja comes deep, there's no one there. So it become relatively pointless. So Madja did come off, Gooch come on, Honeyman come on not long after, and McGeady come off. So he put on two battlers there. Gooch, attacking-wise, of course, is a lot better than Honeyman, but they're both real battlers. They both fight for the ball really, really well. So, and I think that kind of lifted the team temporarily. And then we got the goal. Ball played in, very dangerous ball, and it has been awarded as an own goal. I think it was the Shrewsbury defender, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was facing his own goal, and it has gone in. If he didn't get to it, it would have been a Sunderland player who knocked it in anyway. But it has been awarded as an own goal, and it was 1-0. That really started to lift us. We started to keep the ball on the ground. You see, that's what confused me, because it was blatant that Jack Ross had set us up to, you know, play this sort of direct hoof-it football. Yet as soon as we gained a bit of confidence, we went against his instructions, and we were playing it on the ground. We were playing decent football. And don't get me wrong, again, Shrewsbury, they did look the better team. I have to say that. They did look the better team. But unfortunately for them, they didn't really make too many clear-cut chances. It was just kind of half chances from, you know, half-decent areas, if you know what I mean. Just the odd ball pinged in. They might get a header that's going over the bar. But so for them, you know, they did look like a very decent team. They have a decent home record. So I was almost hoping for us to cling on to a draw before we got the goal, but of course once we got the goal I just hope it's good that we held on to it. But we did manage to get another goal. O'Nien come on, of all players, who hasn't really impressed me. I love his personality, I love his work ethic, but every time he's come on the pitch he's always just running around like headless chicken, and he hasn't really offered much. And so for him to come on and get a goal, it was absolutely amazing for him, and I'm so happy for the lad. I'm just hoping that settles him, because you can tell that how panicky he is whenever he's come on the pitch. He's sort of like, shit, I don't know what to do with it, and it quickly just pass it on, or he almost stumbles over the ball, which, and I know that he does have a decent amount of quality. I want him to have that confidence and that calmness to be able to produce what I know he is able to produce, and he hasn't had that so far. So for him, you know, he was stumbling towards the area. I think he took a bit of a heavy touch. It fell back to him quite luckily. It was pinged back to him, and he's put it in the bottom right-hand corner. And it is 2-0, and we end up seeing the game out. So it is an absolutely incredible result. I'm absolutely buzzing and slightly drunk. But to sort of round up the game, you know, we didn't play to our best, but we're still managing to get a 2-0 win and a clean sheet against one of the better sides in this league, a side that did very well last year. Of course, they've had a bit of trouble this year. They haven't been as good up until this point anyway. I know they have had their own problems. They've lost a couple of players and what have you. But still, to go there and get a 2-0 win, it's an incredible result, and it does show that we do have a bit of fight. And you know, even if we're not playing the best, we could still manage to scrape a win. But I just hope to God that Ross scraps this direct football, because it's just awful to watch. It doesn't work. It's entirely ineffective, unless what he's trying to do is just simply gift the opposition possession and run them down and defend for the majority of the game, particularly in games like this where Shrewsbury do have a home record, and then pounce on them towards the latter stages of the game, which, to be fair, it did work out that way. That's exactly how it worked out. But surely no manager would really want you know, your team to be under that amount of pressure for so long in the game and test our defence so much, given that our defensive record hasn't been great. So you know, it's hard to argue against, because it did work today, but it was just really poor on the eye, and it was almost like we were sort of trying to blend in with the typical League One football that has faced us. You know, just the hoof-it football, try to be the sort of more physical team, which we're not. We're not a physical team. There are players within our squad that are very technical. They're very good on the ball, so please don't bring them down to the sort of hoof-it football level, which they are not. McGeoch today, who I've made it known that I am a fanboy of. I'm a massive fan of McGeoch. But the thing is with him recently, you know, in pre-season with him, he looked like a completely different player as to what he is now. In pre-season, he was dominating. He was so confident on the ball. He was pinging balls left, right and centre, always accurate, and he was always going forward. And, you know, a bit similar to Max Power's sort of distribution with the ball, but he was just quicker. And he's a very intelligent player. But since he's come back from his injury, that confidence just seems to have completely disappeared. And every time he gets the ball, rather than looking up and going forward, he just immediately, it's like a jerk reaction, he turns back to see where he can pass it backwards to. I don't think he made one forward positive pass in that game today. Don't get me wrong, he didn't really lose the ball when he did have it, but it would always be the simple backwards pass to a defender. And Catamol isn't exactly, you know, the passer that we need. That isn't his job. So McGeoch, I just hope he does get a little bit more confidence and go for these forward passes, because there was a few times where he had plenty of time on the ball and he'll just play the simple pass backwards. And I know for a fact that he has the quality, and that's why I'm such a massive fan of him, and that's why I want him to do well so much. But on the whole, an incredible, incredible result, and I'm absolutely buzzing with it. And I'm just going to have another couple of bevies and enjoy the day. It's a cracking result. I'm absolutely buzzing, guys. So, yeah, that's going to be the review summed up. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, leave a like and subscribe and all that nonsense. But for now, you take care and stay jammy.